There is a hush that falls across the earth just before a storm breaks. It is the stillness of anticipation, the silence before transformation. My dear, in that sacred quiet, I want you to lean in close and listen. Not to the world, not to the whispers of quick fixes or false prophets, but to the ancient voice of the earth herself. The year is 2025. We have entered a time where souls are waking up and bodies are yearning, not just to be lighter in flesh, but freer in spirit. And out of the cradle of the Himalayas, kissed by the breath of time, comes something old made new again. Pink salt. Not the kind you toss without thought, but the kind you honor with intention. This is no ordinary trick, child. This is a sacred remembrance. There is something almost holy in the way the earth gifts us her treasures, hidden beneath layers of stone and time, waiting for us to rediscover them. This pink salt, born from ancient seas that once kissed the mountains before they rose to scrape the heavens, carries in its crystalline heart the memory of creation itself. I tell you now, beloved, this salt is not just seasoning for your table. It is a testament to the patience of nature, the perseverance of the ages, and the divine order of things both great and small. Long before there were aisles of bright packages promising results, long before diet pills and powdered concoctions whispered their seductive lies, the earth offered us what we needed: water to quench our thirst, sunlight to feed our bones, and salt, beautiful, mineral-rich salt, to sustain the delicate balance of life flowing through our veins. In the pink salt, there is the song of oceans long gone, a lullaby that still hums beneath the hardened ridges of every rock and crystal. You see, our bodies are born of earth and water. We are dust, woven with the salt of the sea. Our blood tastes like tears, like the sweat of our mothers, like the brine of the womb. So when we turn back to this gift, this pink salt that has waited millennia to meet our lips, we are not adding something foreign. We are remembering. We are calling ourselves home. But hear me when I say this is not a magic fix. The salt itself does not melt away the heaviness you carry, not by itself. It is simply a partner, a gentle guide, a grandmother's whisper in the dark of morning saying, "Rise, child. Take care of this vessel. Give thanks for this day." When you stir that pinch into warm water, when you lift it to your lips and drink with gratitude, you are not just hydrating your cells. You are making a promise to your spirit. You are saying, "I will show up for myself today. I will be kind. I will be patient. I will let this small ritual remind me of how sacred I am." In this modern world, we are bombarded by noise, by false prophets offering miracle cures, by the silent violence of comparison. They tell us our bodies are never enough, that our beauty is measured by what we lack. But the pink salt does not care for their chatter. It comes quietly, simply unadorned. It needs no marketing, no grand claims. It has been here longer than our hunger for validation, and it will remain long after the last cruelade fades away. Child, your body is a temple built by the Creator's own hand. It is not something to be punished or starved into submission. It is something to be honored, cherished, nurtured. This pink salt is a tool, a reminder that nature provides for us, that we are intimately connected to the mountains and the sea, that every cell of our being is worthy of healing. I have seen too many souls torture themselves in search of thinness, as though smaller meant better, as though shrinking would bring them peace. But I tell Yug, peace does not come from erasing parts of yourself. It comes from embracing yourself, from loving yourself so fiercely that you cannot help but glow. It comes from practices that honor the miracle you already are, not practices that punish you for simply being alive. When you drink that pink salt water in the morning, let it be an act of love. Let it be a prayer. May I release what no longer serves me. May I carry only what is meant for me. May I move through this world with grace, with strength, with lightness in my step and in my soul. Let it be the first step in a day of nourishing choices, gentle movement, laughter that bubbles up from deep within. Because this path is not just about pounds or inches, my love. It is about freedom. Freedom from shame. Freedom from old stories that tell you your worth is measured by the scale. Freedom from the weight that has nothing to do with flesh. The weight of fear, of doubt, of inherited pain. In this pink salt, there is the wisdom of women who came before you. Women who knew how to heal with what the earth provided, who laid hands on fevered foreheads and whispered blessings into cups of water. There is the womb of ancestors who survived drought and famine, who knew the sacred value of salt and passed it down generation to generation like a holy flame. So do not rush, sweet one. Do not gulp it down in haste, looking only for results. Savor it. Feel it awaken the water within you. Feel it remind you that you are connected to everything that has ever been and everything that will ever be. And then with each sip, let yourself become lighter. Not just in body, but in spirit. You are not here to disappear. You are here to shine. You are here to be strong and supple, rooted in the love you give yourself every single day. Let this salt be the small spark that ignites that fire in you, that helps you step out of the old skin of self-loathing and into the new dawn of self-devotion. Because you, my dear, are worth the slow burn of transformation. You are worth the time it takes. You are worth the patience of mountains. And if the salt has waited thousands of years to be part of your healing, then surely you can wait a little longer too, tending your spirit with kindness, your body with reverence, and your life with the grace of someone who knows they are, in every way, a miracle. Drink, give thanks, and rise. Listen to me now, beloved, because I want you to hear the soft beat of truth that thrums beneath your own heartbeat. There is a secret in this life, a hidden thread woven through every sunrise and every quiet dusk. A true change begins not in the body, but in the sacred chamber of the soul. I have watched people chase every trick, every quick fix, every glittering promise that some smooth-talking prophet could sell them. I have seen them pour money into powders, press pills between trembling fingers, whisper prayers into mirrors hoping they might wake up new. But you cannot build a lasting temple on a crumbling foundation. You cannot light the lamp from a wick soaked in fear. And you cannot transform your outer world until you first turn inward and tend the garden of your spirit. That is where the roots of real change lie, deep in the rich soil of self-love and self-respect. Oh, yes, child, I know the temptations of this world. The voices come at you from every direction, telling you to hate what you see in the mirror, to believe you are broken, to give your precious money and your even more precious faith to something outside yourself. They promise you beauty. They promise you ease. They promise you that if you just follow them blindly, you will be loved at last. But let me tell you what I have learned walking through this earth, feeling the sun on my shoulders and the wind on my back. The only way to heal the body is to heal the spirit first. The only way to shed the weight you carry is to set down the burdens that live in your heart. The weight that clings to your bones is more than flesh. It is the echo of every unkind word you have spoken to yourself, every night you spent in quiet tears wondering if you would ever be enough. It is the memory of every rejection, every cold shoulder, every moment you were told you had to change yourself to be worthy of love. That weight cannot be melted by salt alone. It cannot be washed away with a single ritual or a single glass of water. It must be met with love again and again until the hurt is soothed and the spirit is ready to rise. So when you stir that pink salt into your water, do not think of it as a magic potion. Think of it as a small act of devotion, a first step on the long, holy road of healing. Think of it as a prayer you speak not with words but with action. I am here. I am ready. I am willing to become new. And do not measure your progress by numbers. The scale cannot measure the light in your eyes when you forgive yourself for the first time. It cannot weigh the freedom you feel when you let go of the shame that has kept you silent. It cannot capture the strength in your hands when you cook yourself a nourishing meal and say, "This is for me because I deserve to be cared for." A transformation, child, is not a straight road. It is not a quick sprint. It is a dance, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, a weaving, winding path that tests your faith and makes you stronger with every stumble. You will have days when you fall, days when you want to quit, days when the old voices whisper in your ear that you are wasting your time. That is the moment to remember that you are more than your cravings, more than your old habits, more than the fear that tries to grip your heart. You are a child of God, a creature of stars and clay, a miracle walking this earth. Your worth is not measured by your weight. Your value is not tied to the shape of your hips or the curve of your belly. You are worthy simply because you are here, breathing, loving, trying again each day to be a little kinder to yourself. So take your salt water and let it remind you to slow down. Let it be a ritual that centers you in the present, that pulls you out of the frantic grasping and back into the warm cradle of your own breath. As you drink, think of all the parts of yourself you have been at war with. Bless them. Speak to them gently. Tell them they are safe now. Tell them you are not going to punish them anymore. This is the real trick, the real miracle, loving yourself through the process. Being patient, being steadfast, being willing to forgive your slip-ups and begin again every morning, like the sun rising over the mountains. Let this journey be about more than weight loss. Let it be about freedom. Let it be about choosing life, choosing joy, choosing the quiet power of tending your own soul with the same tenderness you would give to a child. Because that child still lives inside you, hoping you will finally listen, hoping you will finally stop running, hoping you will finally see that there has never been anything wrong with you. You do not need fixing, beloved. You need remembering. You need nurturing. You need to stand tall and say, "I am already worthy. I am already beautiful. I am already enough." And when you say those words, the salt will taste sweeter. The burden will begin to lift. The healing will begin deep and true in the hidden places of your spirit. And someday soon you will look back at the woman or man you used to be, and you will smile. You will bless that old self for surviving, for carrying you this far. And you will walk forward into the bright light of your new day, no longer desperate, no longer afraid, but radiant and strong, knowing you did not simply lose weight. You found your way back home to yourself. The old folks used to say that liberation does not come in a sudden burst of glory, but in the quiet moments when you decide to set down what was never yours to carry. Child, I want you to listen with your whole being, for what I am about to tell you is more precious than silver, more enduring than gold. When you think of shedding weight, think beyond your body. Think beyond your flesh. Think of the burdens that wrap themselves around your spirit, the old grief, the silent fears, the guilt passed from generation to generation like a bitter inheritance. Those are the weights that truly keep you from soaring. We have been taught to measure ourselves with scales and mirrors, to look at the reflection and count the ways we have failed. But there is a deeper reflection, hidden behind the flesh and the bone, glowing like a lantern in the dark corners of your being. That is the reflection that matters. That is the light that guides you home. So when you set out on this journey, when you stir the pink salt into warm water and drink it down in the hush of morning, let it not be a desperate act of erasure. Let it be an act of love. Let it be a declaration that you will no longer carry what was never yours. The salt will help your body release what it no longer needs. But you must help your heart do the same. I have seen women, strong as oak trees on the outside, Bend beneath the hidden weight of words spoken long ago by a mother, a teacher, a lover who did not know how to handle their own brokenness. I have seen men whose broad shoulders were bowed beneath the weight of expectation, told from the time they were boys that softness was weakness, that hunger was something to be ignored, that love was something to be earned through pain. And I say enough. Enough of carrying shame that does not belong to you. Enough of holding on to guilt that does not heal you. Enough of letting your mind be colonized by voices that never once cared about the tender garden of your soul. When you drink that pink salt water, breathe deeply and imagine the salt moving through your blood, whispering to every weary cell you are free. You are free to let go. You are free to grow soft where you once were hardened by sorrow. You are free to rest. You are free to heal. Because true weight loss, true liberation, is not just the slipping away of pounds from your hips or belly. It is the softening of your spirit, the loosening of old fears, the sacred untying of knots you have kept in your chest for so long you forgot how deeply you were bound. Beloved, we live in a world that profits from our insecurity. There are entire empires built on the notion that you are never enough. They sell you creams and teas, powders and promises, all wrapped in bright paper and hollow words. But there is no profit to be made from you learning to love yourself as you are, from you deciding that you deserve nourishment, not punishment. That is why they do not tell you the real secret. The weight that burdens you is not only physical, and the path to freedom is paved with patience and grace, not quick fixes and empty hunger. So as you begin to heal, expect the voices of doubt to rise like smoke. Expect old patterns to whisper sweetly, calling you back into the familiar embrace of shame. But remember that you have something stronger now. You have your ritual. You have your salt. You have the knowing that you were made to be whole, not hollow. With every sip, remind yourself that you are allowed to release what no longer serves you. Maybe that is old anger that still burns your throat in the middle of the night. Maybe it is the constant comparing of your life to others, the quiet poison of envy that eats at your joy. Maybe it is the fear that if you become too radiant, too powerful, too beautiful, someone will try to tear you down. Let it go. The pink salt is ancient. It has seen the rising and falling of mountains, the slow erosion of seas, the building of worlds. It knows something about patience. It knows something about resilience. Let it remind you that you too are built of strong things, that you are older than any shame you carry, older than any story you were told about your unworthiness. Let the salt be a teacher, a guide, a quiet friend. And as your body releases excess water, toxins, the old bloating and heaviness, let your soul release what it has been clutching so tightly. Cry if you need to. Sing if you can. Stand beneath the open sky and shout your freedom to the wind if that is what your spirit demands. Because you, my dear, were not born to suffer under the weight of old wounds. You were born to rise, to lighten, to move through this world with the grace of someone who knows their worth is infinite. The world has tried to convince you otherwise. It has tried to sell you smallness. But you are not small. You are vast. You are as deep as the sea from which that pink salt was born, as wide as the sky, as enduring as the mountains. So let this be the season when you begin to lift the real weight. Let this be the year you remember that freedom was never about fitting into someone else's idea of perfection. It was about standing tall in your own truth, loving your own curves and edges, and letting the world adjust itself to your light. And if you ever forget, come back to your ritual. Come back to the salt, to the breath, to the quiet moments before dawn when you look at your reflection and see not just flesh and bone, but the miracle of your existence. That is where freedom begins, and that is where true weight loss, the kind that frees not just your body but your soul, takes root. There is a hush in the early morning when the world still dreams, when the sky blushes soft pink, and the earth yawns itself awake. That is the hour when the sacred things whisper their truths, when you can hear the voice of God echo softly against your ribs, telling you the way forward. It is in these quiet moments, child, that you begin to understand the hidden wisdom of the world. That nature itself has always held the answers. That healing doesn't come in grand gestures, but in small, steady choices made over and over again. When you take that pink salt into your hand, remember you are holding something formed long before you were born. You are touching an ancient song, a memory of the sea, a testament to the patience of the earth. This salt was not made in haste. It was forged over centuries, pressed and folded by time until it became what it is today, a crystal of living memory, a gift of the divine. That salt is a symbol, a reminder that healing happens slowly, just as the mountains rise grain by grain, just as the ocean carves rock with its endless breath, so too must you trust the process of becoming. You cannot rush it. You cannot force it. You must honor the seasons of your own transformation, and let the salt teach you what it means to be patient, to be constant, to endure. I know, sweet one, how tempting it is to want quick miracles. The world sells us urgency. Change overnight, drop 10 pounds in a week, transform your life in a flash. But there is no lasting peace in quickness. There is no real grace in the frantic reaching for an instant solution. The real miracle is in showing up day after day, even when the scale barely shifts, even when old habits snarl at your heels, even when doubt rises like a dark wave in your heart. The salt will work, yes, but only if you do. It will help flush away the things your body no longer needs. It will balance the water in your cells, soothe inflammation, cleanse gently the old remnants of what was. But more than that, it will remind you that your healing is in your hands. That every choice you make, every step you take, every glass of warm, salted water you drink, is a small prayer offered up to your own becoming. When you begin to treat the act of caring for yourself as sacred, child, the world changes. Suddenly, the food you put into your mouth becomes holy. The movement of your body becomes a hymn. The hours of rest you allow yourself become a gift, not just to your muscles and bones, but to your weary spirit. That is where the true power lies, not in the salt itself, but in what it awakens within you. You will feel lighter, yes, but do not look for the change only in your reflection. Feel it in your breath, in the way your shoulders drop when you stop punishing yourself. Feel it in the way you rise from bed with a soft resolve instead of dread. Feel it in the way you begin to speak to yourself gently, as though you were your own beloved child, deserving of kindness. And child, that kindness will ripple outward into the world. When you learn to love the miracle of your own flesh, when you tend to your temple with reverence, you become a beacon for others. You become living proof that healing is possible, that freedom is real, that there is another way besides the path of pain and punishment. Some might laugh at you. Some might call it silly. A little pinch of pink salt in warm water each morning. They will not understand, because they are still searching for something loud and flashy to save them. But you will know the truth. You will know that real change comes not in a crash, but in a quiet blossoming. You do not owe them proof. You do not owe them explanations. This journey is yours alone. Let your body be your testimony. Let your soft glow speak for you. Let your strength sing in the way you show up for yourself again and again, even when no one is watching, even when the world remains skeptical. Because you are not here to convince anyone of your worth. You are here to live it, to breathe it, to embody it so fully that you cannot help but shine. And that shining, my love, is contagious. It is the kind of beauty that transforms not just you, but everyone blessed enough to stand in your light. So honor the pink salt. Honor the small rituals. Honor the slow road. They are not glamorous. They will not bring you applause. But they will bring you peace. They will bring you healing. They will bring you home to yourself. And isn't that the greatest freedom of all? To be free of the voices that told you you were not enough. To be free of the guilt that gnawed at you in the dark. To be free of the punishing cycle of starvation and shame. That is the weight you are truly losing. The weight of other people's expectations, the burden of old wounds, the heaviness of your own self-doubt. Every day you choose to show up, you are choosing freedom. Every time you drink that salted water, you are reminding your body that it deserves care, that it is worthy of nourishment, that you are willing to be patient. And slowly, like a seed planted in spring, your spirit will begin to bloom. It will not happen overnight. But one morning you will wake up and realize the sun feels warmer on your face. The mirror feels kinder. Your heart feels stronger. And you will know that you have done something holy. You have saved yourself. You have tended your own garden. You have loved yourself back into life. That is the real miracle, child. That is the power in your hands. Let it guide you. Let it fill you. And let it remind you always that you were never broken. You were simply waiting to remember your own light. There comes a time, child, when you must lay your hands upon your own chest and feel the steady thump of your own heart. And in that rhythm hear the truth, that you have always had within you the power to rise, to heal, to transform the landscape of your own life. The pink salt, this ancient crystal born of oceans that lived and died before we named ourselves, is only a tool, a humble servant of the bigger miracle, which is you. You see, the world will sell you 1,000 answers. The world will try to convince you that what you need lies outside you, in the bright bottles on the shelf, in the empty promises of a stranger with a smooth tongue and hungry eyes. But listen to the quiet hush of dawn, to the still voice that lives beneath your bones. It has always known the way. That voice is your truest compass. That voice is the map that no one can steal, the secret song that can't be bought or sold. When you bring pink salt into your life, when you bless your water with it and lift that glass to your lips, you are not bowing to a miracle cure. You are honoring the miracle that is already pulsing in your veins. You are saying, I trust the slow, sacred process of tending to myself. You are saying, I am willing to love this body enough to nourish it, to flush it clean, to give it rest, because it is not the salt alone that brings change. It is the commitment behind it. It is the daily discipline of showing up, even when you feel tired, even when the world's noise tempts you to fall back into old habits. It is the small, consistent acts of devotion that rewire your spirit, strengthen your resolve, and teach your mind that, yes, you are worthy of care. This pink salt, flecked with the hues of sunrise, reminds us that nature heals in her own time, in her own way, that the mountains are not made in an hour, that rivers do not carve valleys in a day. And so it is with you. You have held grief in your belly for years. You have swallowed shame like stones, heavy and hard to pass. You have lived with fear wrapped around your ribcage, so tight you thought it was your natural state. Do not expect all of that to vanish at once. Instead, expect a gentle loosening, a thawing, a slow melting away. Each morning, as you sip your salted water, let yourself imagine the layers of old hurt dissolving. Let yourself feel the warmth spread through your bones. Let yourself hear the quiet voice inside whisper, I am healing. Let that ritual become a promise, a contract with yourself that you will continue, day by day, to honor the temple you have been given. And do not stop there, my dear. Let that small act spill over into the rest of your life. Let it remind you to choose foods that grow from the earth, to walk with your face lifted toward the sun, to rest when your bones ache, to dance when your spirit stirs. Let it teach you that you deserve more than mere survival. You deserve to thrive, to laugh, to feel the full measure of joy that was promised to you the moment you first drew breath. It is a radical thing to love yourself in a world that profits from your doubt. But oh, what a powerful thing it is. It is the first step to freedom. It is the first gate that swings open, letting the light flood in. So be patient with yourself. There will be days when the old hunger for quick results rises in you like a storm. There will be days when you want to curse the slow unfolding of this process, when you ache to snap your fingers and become new. But you are already becoming. You are already changing. Trust the quiet movement beneath the surface, the shifts you cannot yet see but can surely feel. Because you, child, are not just here to shed pounds. You are here to shed the fear that has kept you silent. You are here to release the old wounds that have shaped your story. You are here to walk taller, to laugh louder, to inhabit this life with a fullness that makes others pause and wonder where your light comes from. Let them wonder. Let them see you grow soft and strong at once. Let them watch you become the woman or man you were meant to be, and let that be your answer to every doubter, every critic, every old voice that said you would never change. You are changing. You are becoming. You are releasing. That is the power of this ritual, this salt, this steady devotion to your own well-being. It is not a gimmick. It is not a quick fix. It is a return home to yourself. It is a daily prayer that says, I am worth the wait, and you are. You always have been. You always will be. So sip slow, move gentle, breathe deep, and keep walking forward, one sacred step at a time, because there is a life waiting for you on the other side of this. A life that is lighter, yes, but also richer, brighter, truer. And when you arrive there, you will look back and bless every moment you spent learning to love yourself. You will bless the salt, yes, but even more, you will bless your own fierce heart for never giving up, for trusting that you were worthy all along. You are. And now is your time to rise.